Good afternoon. Got a few things that I'd like to present to the people out there. Ryan Bundy's been going through some stuff there in the prison they have him in. They want that bullet really bad. It's pretty obvious how bad they want it. They want to do the ballistics on it and see who they can start blaming. Because they really want to throw the FBI under the bus. They want to take some of the pressure off them. Talk about this HCR, Hostage Rescue Team, HRT, and how they went rogue, okay? And throw them all under the bus. And if that don't work, they'll probably end up missing, you know, like Navy SEAL 6. I don't know why all of you people out there in the military and FBI and law enforcement, you just don't get it, do you? You know, you're being used. You're being used. And so anyhow, this bullet's really, I'm telling you, it's very important. And Ryan knows how important it is too. And they're going to do whatever they can to get that bullet out because trial comes up here in like a month. Now, I know everybody's really upset, and I don't blame them. I'm upset too for what they have done to that man. You know, it's easy being a bully when you have overwhelming firepower behind you. It's real easy. And most of those jailers, the law enforcement, they got an IQ about 85, I think. And, you know, they are on this need-to-know basis, compartmentalized, and they don't ask questions. They're bootlickers. They do what they're told to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Ours is not to question why. Ours is just to do or die. So, like I said, they got an IQ about 85, and that's as far as it goes. I've talked to them myself. No need to go back down that road. They are soulless for the most part. They don't care. If they really cared, they would have been going after the real criminals in society. But you know what? They're just doing their job. You know, they got a job to do. And, you know, they got a mortgage to pay, and they got to make the payments on their vehicles. And, you know, the kid needs braces, and they got to put it, you know, make some deposits in their college fund. On and on and on and on. Okay? And none of them have ever really sat down and looked at what they're actually going to lose. They think we can keep going day to day the way we've been going, you know. But I'm going to tell you something. And this goes out there to all the Patriots, Tea Partiers, militias. If, I know what everybody's thinking, if Trump just wins the presidency, I'm going to tell you what, he can win the presidency, and I don't think anything's going to change. I really don't. I don't think one single thing's going to change. I'm going to tell you why. Because there's a shadow government that controls everything. And when Trump gets in there, they'll read him the Riot Act. They'll know right where his wife and kids are, and all, you know. I mean, they can devastate that man so fast in a heartbeat. And he thinks he's going to be the commander-in-chief, and he's going to be commanding the military, and the military is going to do whatever he tells them to do. It isn't going to happen. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I want to see him win, you know, just to jab Hillary if no other reason. And I'm going to tell you something about Hillary Clinton. She's done. That woman's fried. Her brains are fried. You know, she's reached the end of her rope. The only reason she's doing what she's doing is if she don't do what she's told to do, they're going to kill her. Okay? Same with her husband. You know, look at him. He's fried. They're all fried. All right? Obama was nothing. He was nothing but a figurehead. That's all he ever was. He was tutored, groomed from a young man because he fit the profile of what they were looking for. You know, he could go pass as a black man, white man. He could, you know, they put him, he could pass as an intelligent person, and he's not. You know, he's smart enough to just to get up and articulate a few sentences. But as soon as his teleprompter falls over, he's done. He's history. So I think what I'm trying to say to everybody out there, you got to know what you're dealing with. You got to know what you're dealing with. Jesus said it eloquently. I think it was in Matthew. If you want to spoil the strong man's house and his goods, you got to first bind the strong man. All right? And then there was a gal by the name of Audrey Lorde. And she said something very similar. You know, you can't dismantle the master's house with the master's tools. So, you know, kudos to everybody that's trying to win this in this through the legal system, which is totally illegal, and that's the whole point. You know, at least you're waking people up. I hope you're waking people up, because this thing is so damn one-sided. It's a joke. You know, as I've said over and over and over, these Patriots and the Bundys have not been convicted of one single thing. They've been in prison now like 7 months. That's a total violation of the 8th Amendment. That should tell you everything that you need to know. They were initially denied the right to a speedy trial. They're doing everything they can while these people are in prison to threaten them, to make life miserable, to get them to plead out. They're taking away their resources, the ability to defend themselves. And understandably so, because the government has no case. Zero. It's like Michelle Fiore said the other day. How long have I been saying that? Okay, how long have I been saying they don't have a case? Okay, now Michelle Fiore comes out, does a presentation. God bless her, I love her. And Gavin Syme. I think Gavin Syme was in that one also. By the way, Gavin, man, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time, but you never call me back, so I guess I'm not that important to you. Anyhow, Michelle Fiore came out, and she has some confidential sources, FBI agents, agent at least, is telling them they have no case. They don't have any case. They have absolutely nothing. They cannot show title or deed to any of that property up there known as the Malheur Wildlife Refuge. They stole it. They kicked 130 ranchers off there. They flooded them out. They burned them out. And then a lot of locals say people just disappear too. You get on the wrong side, a little Satanist, Grasky, and that perversion of the Masonic Lodge there that they got in that cave with all that weird crap. No, you get on the wrong side of that, you're done. You're history. You know, the demons have been released in that area. So, but I do appreciate the efforts of everybody that's trying to do it in a legal way. I have a greater appreciation and respect for Ryan Bundy taking it on himself. Do I think he's going to win? Not in those courts. You got to bind the strong man first. And he's not bound. I mean, he's running free. And you're not going to bind him. That's the whole point. You're not going to bind the strong man unless you bind him in your own neighborhoods, your own areas. I have talked multiple times about developing the militias in your areas. You've got to do it in your areas. And you've got to insist that the Constitution of the United States be followed. Okay? In the state of Utah, we have tried so hard. We put together a petition for the redress of grievances that by law has to be addressed. They're talking about addressing it in January, which is probably too late by then. I've been trying to tell these people, but they don't listen. You know, they think I got all this time. You got to do it in such a way. They could convene a special session, you know. And then, of course, you got the sheriffs, and they don't want to lose any of their power, and they don't want to lose any of their prestige, and they don't want to look like a radical. So, okay, they're like half-hearted probably behind it. And, of course, all of your politicians that are running for re-election, they don't want to look like a radical. And then the people have been so dumbed down that they don't know which side of their bread is buttered on. You know, they don't want to look like crazy radical. They want to be cool. You know, that's what they call the great and spacious building. To all you Mormons out there, the Book of Mormon, the great and spacious building, that they would look out in shame at those that were hold on to the iron rod. Okay? They would try to shame those that were holding on to the iron rod. But the majority of you are in that great and spacious building. Okay? And you're not awake. And you're embarrassment. I've said this before. God is so embarrassed with you. You're a bunch of goats. You're on his left hand. You know, it's just the way it is. So what's going to happen? What is going to happen? Well, lately I've just been talking about God's going to have to bind that strong man. And I believe I see how he's going to do it. The timing's perfect. But I don't want any of you to believe me. No, I don't want any of you to believe me. Because you know what? God, any one man is a majority. You know, I was in the mission field, we used to always say that. Every time we go out in a tough neighborhood, knocking on doors, you know. I had one missionary companion that was chased down the street with a baseball bat by a guy, and he finally turned around and arrested him, and the guy wouldn't hit him. I've had dogs sicked on us. I can remember walking down the sidewalk, and this guy didn't even try to restrain his German Shepherd, you know, because the dog came up and was within inches and looked very violent to me, barking, and, you know, the worst thing you do is run under those circumstances. But he didn't, you know, he would come over and called his dog and just kind of laughed at us. That's society for you. That's society for you. I think everybody's found their level. You know, that which is filthy will be filthy still. And that which is righteous will be righteous still. And I think this whole matter is going to be in God's hands pretty soon. So, that should tell you something about the best way to go about everything. And that is fasting and prayer for the righteous. You know, the Book of Mormon talks about this great division is going to take place between the wicked and the righteous. And the righteous were very few. Because right, he says in the Book of Mormon, First Nephi, the righteous are very few. But they shall be empowered with the glory of God. Okay? It says they shall have great glory. And that shall be a power. And I believe that's what we're looking at right now. The timeline's perfect. And by the way, I've done timelines for the last 40 years. And I've researched the crap out of everything. Primarily Daniel. That was the best one ever to get an idea. And I've looked at it from every single angle there ever was. And I've, you know, explored and investigated everything on that book. And I came up with the year 2016. And I came up with a few years after that also. 2 more years after that, which Daniel talks about. So the timeline's there. The timeline's perfect. I don't know what to say to people. You know, the filthy will be filthy still. Hey, you know what? You didn't even care. You didn't even try to find out the truth. And the righteous will be righteous still. And they will be saved and they'll be preserved. Jeremiah talks about it. So, as far as our Patriots and the Bundys, if I thought I could trade places with them, I would. I thought if we could send a contingency of militias there to actually do something, make a difference, I would. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Okay? I learned an awful lot about the militias here in the last couple of years. And the militias, in my opinion, are a paper tiger. They are. They're just a paper tiger. They talk a big talk. They don't do anything. And now, I will say this, you come to their neighborhoods and you might get a surprise, their immediate neighborhoods. And that's why I say you got to build the militias. You know, that brings up another point about the federalization and militarization of our police forces in the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act declared America as a battle zone, okay, as a battlefield. And they've been training our law enforcement. In every department of law enforcement, there's piles of them, how to act on a battlefield, okay? So, in other words, and then with what they've done with the Bundys and the Patriots, that, you know, that is indefinite detention. That's what I've been trying to say. It's indefinite detention. They're acting it out. They might not come right out and say it, but actions speak louder than words, do they not? It's indefinite detention. And they're treating this whole country like a battlefield. All over this country, they got military spread out from one end to the other. They've got their military people. You know, DHS has bought how many billions of rounds of ammunition. You know, the Jade Helm, the contractors for Jade Helm, they've got equipment spread all over the place. No. I'm going to tell you what, everybody's, oh, got to be careful of martial law. You're in martial law. You've been in martial law for some time. And the law enforcement is part of all LEOs, all FBI, all Department of Homeland Security, whatever you want to call them, BLM, Forestry Service, United States military, even the UN, they're all involved in it. All right? Don't expect anything from those people because they're all compartmentalized and they're just going to do their job. All right? They're only on a need-to-know basis. I mean, you can talk to them till you're purple in the face. I've seen it. I've literally seen it where Ammon was talking to him and trying to hit in the, like a deer headlights. They don't care. They're not listening to anything. They take up an oath to defend the Constitution and they don't care. That's blasphemy. They promised, put their hand on the Bible and they promised to God, they swore to God, that they would defend that Constitution, that document. And they turn right around and do just the opposite. That's blasphemy. Okay, the unpardonable sin. That is the unpardonable sin. Because as long as you go down that road, you'll never get the Spirit of God with you. And without the Spirit of God, you cannot be saved. You will never, without the Spirit of God, you'll never find yourself to Jesus. You'll never be washed in His blood. That's why it's the unforgivable sin. Okay? So, here we are. There's a military force out there. It's got all kinds of different names. And, you know, I think of it as a lot like what happened there in Nazi Germany. It's very, very similar. Extremely similar. They had their big propaganda arm, which they do here too. Southern Poverty Law Center. They're all connected. Make no mistake about it. Southern Poverty Law Center, Mark Potok, they wrote the MIAC report, and then Department of Homeland Security adopted it, and it's been going through every police department in this nation, you know, virtually every sheriff's department in this nation. So there's your big propaganda arm. You know, the Nazis had their big propaganda arm, tell a lie so big that eventually everybody will, you know, believe it. Then they had their secret police. We got ours, and their secret courts. We got interesting enough here. Everybody's part of secret police now. It's not just the CIA. It's not just the FBI. They're all in. They got NSA there that's going to be directing every inch of their footsteps. There's no difference. There's no difference. And the time is shortly going to come. They're going to start rounding up people. They're going to start sending them to the FEMA camps and exterminating them. How long have I been saying this? Go back and look at our videos with Lieutenant Colonel Roy Potter. Roy Potter QA, we've been talking about this since 2013, anyhow. And every day we get closer, and every day there's more evidences that we are there. Okay? So you got to start doing something now. And praying is the best thing you can do. That's first and foremost. Praying is the best thing that you can do. Now for the Mormons, all you got to do is go to Easter. What is that? Chapter 8, verses 22 through 24. And consider your awful position. And you know the interesting thing about that. God said, if you allow this thing to get above you, He's going to destroy you too. Think about that. Doctrine and Covenants says the saints will barely escape. And he's talking about a true saint. A true saint would barely escape. Okay? Not all these 3/4 of these fake saints that go to church every Sunday and pay their tithing and think they're all saved. You know, it's easy to give money. God doesn't need your money. Are you kidding me? I give my money. I'm special. He doesn't need your damn money. He can feed thousands with a few loaves and a few fishes. That was just to test you. And that was the simplest test. Here's what's gone before that, beyond that, and you didn't do it. Okay? So you're stuck. You're in a rut. And you're helpless. You're hopeless. Okay. Anyhow, I guess that's it. I don't have anything else. I hope I offended a whole lot of people. I'm getting better and better at offending people more all the time, because it only seems this thing that seems to work, get people riled up and pissed off. And you know, there's so many trolls out. That's one thing I like. There are so many trolls out there. There's one that's called Veterans Post. What a troll. And I picked him up so fast, and he's just full of garbage. And there's piles of them out there. They're everywhere. And they know how to shut down a video clip, and they know how to discourage people. So it's not, you know, we can only do so much. People like me, Gavin Sine, Lieutenant Colonel Roy Potter. There's only so much we can do, you know. And then it's up to you. All right. If things don't turn around, I think probably the next time I'll see you is before the judgment bar of God. God bless you all.